What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and one and only James Williams Dark Waters, and I'm back. And I'm back to talk to you about the big brain scientists and the damn lizard people and their coalition that they clearly have to control humanity. Now, let me say this before I get started reviewing these videos. For those of you who are new here, I take a pretty standard approach. You know what I'm saying? I follow a rabbit hole and I run down that rabbit hole. So we started on the rabbit hole, lizard people. We saw the connection to them in DARPA. The big brain scientist, oxytocin, which is a hormone that makes people trust. It's called the trust hormone. If you look it up on YouTube, they're going to call it the love hormone. But in context of what these people have been talking about, they're calling it the trust hormone. Pardon my nose because it's stuffy. And I was thinking, I said, self, why would these people need this hormone and what would they do with it? So I just started digging some more. I really started digging. Turns out, let me paint a picture for you. And I could be wrong. I want to preference this with I could be wrong. But also I want to have a conversation about it. So please feel free to talk about it in the comments. Somebody can say I'm completely off base. That's cool. I respect your mind. Give me a suggestion though. All right. If you're able to bring people into a state of trust, right? And get people to trust, at some point in time, you're gonna need to be able to figure out how it's working, if that makes sense to you. So if I spray you with a whole bunch of stuff to make you trusting of, excuse me, something or someone, we got to figure out a way to measure that trust, right? And I'm thinking, what did they roll out recently that they can use to do these type of behaviors? I'm like, oh crap, bro. These people got this AI facial recognition. And remember, I told you last time at the end of the video, I kind of got disgusted when I came to the revelation that it's literally them raping humanity. And I was like, man, you raping people, like, emotionally, physically. I mean, like it's real deal, not physical rape, not like penetrating, like. But I mean, you know what I mean. Like you raping people by not really giving them a choice. You're violating them. Violating is probably a better word to use. You're violating people, right? And I started digging deeper, and here's what I came up with. Watch this.
Up with ways to do exactly that using AI technology. And we're here in London to visit Element Human.
People are essentially, if you think about it from a camera's perspective, a bunch of pixels. And those pixels are moving with each other in different ways. And the artificial intelligence, what it's really good at is it's spotting patterns. We take the patterns that it's spotted in all these meta layers of features, and then we start to classify it to say, do we see a pattern of smiling? And you look at that across different groups of people. So that could be observing an audience to help inform a publisher on how they should produce content or a brand on where they should advertise.
In Celazak's future, everyone will have access to their own AI assistant. It'll help them read the reactions of people around them and tell them how someone else is feeling.
We want to start looking at some business traits that what is this message trying to change for consumers? So one of the things that we look at here is, let's see if Tim Hortons is disgusting. Our competitor is going to be McDonald's. We need people to look at this. So we're plugged into a bunch of globally sourced panel providers. Now we're going to enter something we call a memory test. So this is one of our first subconscious measurements. We call it Tinder.
Did this Negro just say subconscious measurements? You see, I was alluding to the algorithms. I don't even think I alluded to it. I just said it flat out that these algorithms are how they were going to control people. Listen, if you can predict people's behaviors based on collecting data, then you can control people's behavior based on the same data. And that's the dangerous part about what we're facing. Now, somebody may be saying, Dark Waters, what this got to do with lizard people? They got everything in the world to do with damn lizard people. Because if you got an elite group of lizards, you can call them demons, lizards, the elites, the Rothschilds, whatever the hell y'all want to call them nowadays. I call them lizard people. And they want to control humanity. It's very few of them. I mean, think about it. For example, let's say every news broadcaster on every news station around the United States alone was a lizard person, right? I mean, every news station. That's still a small number of people. Let's say everybody in Congress, everybody in the Senate, and everybody that work in the White House. Let's say all those people were lizards. Then let's take the head of all your major agencies, your CIA, NSA, all your military heads. I mean, you still talking about a small fraction of lizards versus 7 billion human beings. So if we got a small group of lizards, mind you, we're going to exchange lizards for demon possessed people, demonically influenced people, elites. It's still a very small number of them, a very small number of them. And so if they want to control, they have to have a mechanism and a system of controlling people. And they're rolling it out right in front of our faces. And in fact, they're using us to program it, the rollout. Everybody got Chat GTP. Oh, let me get on that Chat GTP. Let me ask this AI what it need to do. Just recently it came out with memory, where it memorizes the conversation. Now, I don't believe for a second that it didn't have memory from the beginning. I was born at night, but I wasn't born last night. But nonetheless, now they roll out Chat GTP can remember a conversation. Of course, it probably didn't remember a conversation prior to that. They just let you access the memory. Mind you, whatever they got that they're rolling out to you, they've been had. Been had. So now this dude is talking about how they can influence decision making by gathering data.
For brands. Is Rolex cheap? Do I disagree or agree with the statement? So I disagree with that statement. So what we're doing here is we're building a bank of my reaction times.
He says that aside from assisting publishers, he sees all kinds of uses for his technology. It might, for instance, be used to detect when a crowd is about to riot.
I think, yes, it will go in that direction, those types of public protection principles, to help for, can we identify a crowd that's about to turn into a riot? Can we tell somebody who's really nervous? Even forget just public protection, but more transport safety. Just people who are moving through the city. Is there a particular crosswalk that actually people almost get hit all the time?
You know the craziest thing about the big brain scientists and the big brain tech guys? I don't think it ever crosses their mind what they're truly doing. I really think it's compartmentalized for them, and I don't think it crosses their mind. Hey, bro, you are literally about to destroy humanity. There was a movie that came out, and it was about predictive crime programming using AI. Well, like if you walked up the street, you had all the billboards scanning your eyes and your face, and it predicted if you were going to commit a crime. I cannot remember the name of the movie. You guys will remember the name of the movie because you're geniuses and you're phenomenal. But this is what we're walking into. So right now I have the freedom to call them lizard people. So I'm going to call them lizards, slithering lizards at this point in time. Because based on what I'm seeing right now, in probably 12 months to 18 months, I won't even have the freedom to call them lizards. They're going to be looking at me and saying, oh, he moved his mouth in this direction and he's about to call us a damn lizard. So lizards, slithering lizards is what I'm getting it all in right now. I'm getting it all in right now.
Fine, we just need to adjust the light length.
But ethics are important to anyone entering this new market, says Salazak. His company has already decided it won't be working with certain people out of those ethical concerns, namely gambling companies and politicians.
When we work with our customers, we have in our contracts that our first and primary obligation is to the data owner. And the data owner, in our case, is always the individual. So we stand firmly on the side of the voters versus the politicians.
Oh, they gonna whack him. That boy just signed a death sentence. They're gonna bust his head and take his technology. Boy, you should have stayed off TV. They about to crack you to the white meat and jack you, boy. You would have did better saying, yeah, I work with the gamblers and the politicians and not working with them, then, boy, they're going to bust your head to the white meat.
In the end, Salazak thinks that rather than dehumanize us, emotion detection AI will actually help us become more human. He thinks
this dude just said a computer's going to make us become more human. That's what he just said. A computer's going to make us become more human. Are you?
That where people are loaded with personal baggage when they try to determine others' feelings, AI can make better, more objective determinations.
So it has to be open, and it has to be testable, and it has to be proven and usable by everybody in the ecosystem.
Bro, I don't need no computer to tell how somebody else is feeling. I don't need that at all. I don't need no computer to tell me how somebody's feeling. I ain't no damn idiot. I can talk to a person to tell how they're feeling. If I pay enough attention, I don't need your damn computer to tell me how somebody else is feeling, because your computer going to try and tell me how to feel. Right now, computer, AI that's listening to this, a YouTube AI who's translating this. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like the fact that y'all trying to do this. Now watch this. Homie is sitting there saying that they're capable of doing this, right? So I went and found some big brain scientists. So I wanted to see what the big brain scientists on the other side was saying. So when you start listening to these big brain scientists, now one of them sounds like a slithering lizard. You're gonna notice he sounds like a lizard. And I'm gonna highlight when he starts to talk like a lizard. Because anytime a person starts referring to other people as human beings, use a lizard. Because you saying that you ain't human. The same thing that Mark Zuckerberg did. Well, humans, and I'm not a robot. No. Use a lizard. So there's one of these lizards on this panel. You can always listen to their language and tell they damn lizards. But I want you to listen to what these people got to say. So they're talking about AI and emotion, facial recognition and facial emotion recognition, and how it can't work. It won't work at this point in time because of people are too complex in their emotions. So somebody could be smiling when they're happy. They could smile when they're nervous. There's crazy people like me who smile when they're mad and when they're angry. You can't read that. Not with just a face. You have to have the rest of the context in order to read it. So the lizard people are trying their best. Now, mind you, we've seen the lizards in the comments. I expose the lizards in the comments to you guys every day. For example, watch this. Today I did an experiment, lizards. I dropped 2 videos. One video with me joking about the big leg white women getting kidnapped again, and another video about a pool of water. That's clearly a pool of water. And I even say, this guy in the video, not me, this guy in the video wants you to believe that this pool of water is a portal. But what this guy in the video saying, I don't think you understand what the guy in the videos understand. I don't think you understand what the guy in the video understands, or what this guy understands is that if you go to that pool of water, you're going to go into another dimension. I'm not even talking about my opinion. I'm talking about the gentleman who's sitting in the vehicle. My head itch right now. I'm talking about the gentleman who's sitting in the vehicle looking at the damn pool of water. It's clearly a pool of water. But see, 2 things you got to understand about these lizards. Number 1, they don't have a personality, so they can't catch a joke. Number 2, they don't have a personality, so they can't actually catch when you're being sarcastic. I've been testing this theory. For you lizards who've been falling for the test, I appreciate each and every one of you. Their input and your data points are very important. I'm collecting that data, but you guys are easy to expose. You're going to see it right now. Watch this. They're going to do what?
Ignition technology, present and future. We have 3 speakers on our briefing today. They are Lisa Feldman Barrett, professor of psychology at Northeastern University, Seth Pollack, professor of psychology at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and Alish Martinez, professor of electrical and computer engineering at Ohio State University. Woo! We'll start by hearing a few remarks from each of our speakers, and then we'll open it up to Q&A. Thanks.
Great. Good morning, everybody.
I think she's human.
About a little over 3 years ago, the Association for Psychological Science approached me to put together a panel of senior scientists to write a paper for a journal called Psychological Science in the Public Interest. And the question was whether or not there are universal facial expressions of emotion. And part of the goal was to try to deal with a decades-long, maybe even centuries-long debate about whether or not everyone around the world smiles when they're happy, scowls when they're angry, frowns when they're sad, and whether people around the world recognize these expressions as expressions of emotion, in part because there is an increasing use of these expressions, these facial movements, to detect emotion in people using technology like emotion AI.
I'm going to stop it right there. I'm going to answer the question for the big damn brain people. Of course, there's universality to the body language of human beings. Because what? Because humans been interacting with humans forever. So I can go to China and smile, and somebody's going to understand that I'm smiling. They're going to automatically assume that I'm happy. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm happy, but the emotion portrayed is happiness, delight, that I'm joyful. In fact, it's an unspoken language. So I don't know that you need to chunk all the way down on it. The only reason why you would want to chunk down super far on the facial, on emotion detection via faces, on emotion detection via facial expressions is if you're trying to categorize it and use it as a weapon. Now, hold on, stop, pause. Let's rewind and let's go all the way back to how we got here. If you recall, we were talking about DARPA and the big brain clowns at DARPA and what they were doing. So what you're seeing is a spinoff of a spinoff down all the way to the chunking down to a study of the people who trying to figure out for DARPA what your face do. You're trying to figure out what it is, what it do with your face. That's what all it's about. They're trying to figure out what it is and what it do with your face. You understand what I'm saying to you? Now, what they start to say is very interesting, but that's the intro. I'm sorry. Let me get back going.
And so we met over video conferencing for about 2 hours a week, sometimes more. And we read more than 1,000 papers together. And we came to consensus over what.
I got to stop it. I'm pausing. I'm sorry. You want to study people's facial expressions and the understanding of people's facial expressions, but your ass read 1,000 papers. You see what I mean about, my mama used to say this, boy, you book smart, but you ain't got no damn common sense. I'm telling you, they got some people out here who book smart, but they ain't got no damn common sense. You want to study facial expressions of humans and what they mean, and what you do is you go read books. Okay, no problem.
The literature says. So this is really, I think, the first time really in the history of this question that a set of scientists who have come from very different points of view came to consensus. And the general punchline is basically this. On average, if we're talking mainly about adults in urban cultures, on average, people scowl, for example, when they're angry about 30% of the time. That's significantly.
I don't know. Something about her distinguishing urban cultures sticks out to me. And I don't think she means urban like, like when they use urban, like urban to mean black. I think she means urban as in like city cultures. Something don't sit right with me about that. Why would you worry about that culture? Oh, I get it. I know why you need to study urban cultures, because that's where they're gonna put the damn cameras.
Greater than chance and gets you a publication in a journal. But it's what scientists would call low reliability, because approximately 70% of the time, adults do not scowl when they are angry. They are doing something else with their faces. And people also scowl when they are not angry. They scowl when they're concentrating. They scowl when someone tells them a bad joke. They scowl when they have gas. They scowl for lots of reasons, and this is what we would call low specificity. So if a scowl has low reliability as an expression of anger, and it has low specificity as an expression of anger, that means it is not the expression of anger. It is a expression of anger that people will show in certain.
Well, that's a whole bunch of damn common sense right there. I'm sorry. You had to read 1,000 books to figure that out?
Circumstances, but not others.
See, this is how you know these people ain't never been around nobody. I'm sorry. I know people are going to say, well, DW, I'm trying to watch the video. But no, let me just, remember I told you, you're so smart you ain't got no damn common sense. Real talk. Anybody who been around regular people, like, you ain't even got to be in the hood. Just around regular people. You grew up in a neighborhood where kids played outside. You talk to your neighbors. Man, you know this. You don't have to do no damn study to know this. To know that somebody could be smiling at you, but wanting to beat you upside your head. To know that if you're a female, you're a woman, you've been with your girlfriends. You know you done been with your girlfriends. Girl walk up to you and smile, and she can't stand your guts. She just finished talking about you to her friends, and then she turn around and she's smiling at you. Come on, man. Come on. This is what I'm saying. Y'all big brains need to give me some of this money. We can save all that time and trouble. Come on down to New Orleans. Come and holler at me. I'm going to take you out to Bourbon Street. We're going to walk around. We're going to do a facial study of people. I'm going to talk reckless to people. You're going to see all kind of facial expressions and things that happen. This is how I know y'all a bunch of damn lizards, because only a lizard thinks this way, man.
And generally speaking, what we determined across many different domains that we studied is that people do not move their faces randomly, but they do move their faces in highly contextualized ways. And so any AI that is claiming to detect scowl and interpreting it as detecting anger has some real problems. I should say this summary that I just gave you doesn't just hold
Dry snitching. She's sitting there telling y'all that don't work.
for anger. It holds for every single emotion category that we looked at.
Which the dangerous part about it is they wrote, you see, homie before was rolling out the AI saying he wouldn't work with politicians and he wouldn't work with this, but basically hinting to the fact that he would work with law enforcement. So what she telling you is that ain't gonna work. I could have told you it wasn't gonna work because humans are too damn complicated. This is how come I know the lizard people trying to take over. Lizards, y'all not gonna win because y'all don't have what it takes to defeat humanity. You just don't have what it takes because you don't have that humanity. I'm just telling you. Common sense.
And I'm going to turn it over to Seth now.
Thank you, Lisa.
Wait, I'm gonna say this though. Y'all got an opportunity to oppress humanity. But as humanity wakes up, we gonna put our foot in y'all behind.
Yes, I mean, we think
Wait, just the lizard dude. Listen to this.
about it with regard to scowls, but I'm sure from your own experiences, you can apply this to other kind of facial movements like smiling, right? The smile is the prototype of somebody feeling happy or pleased, but sometimes we smile or laugh when we're nervous. Sometimes we smile when we're being condescending. Sometimes we smile in a sexually predatory way. So, it really, just filling out Lisa's comment that this really could apply to all different kinds of facial movements that you can think of as they relate to how we interpret or infer somebody else might be feeling.
Lizard.
I'll say just a word about children and infants, and the primary interest here about addressing this complex question with regard to very young humans
What about children?
is
Whoa. I'm sorry. Why the lizard went straight to the children? Let me rewind this. And then he called us humans. Just go back.
It's like smiling, right? The smile is the prototype of somebody feeling happy or pleased, but sometimes we smile or laugh when we're nervous. Sometimes we smile when we're being condescending. Sometimes we smile in a sexually predatory way. So, it really, just filling out
You look like
Lisa's
a sex
comment
predator.
that this really could apply to all different kinds of facial movements that you can think of as they relate to how we interpret or infer somebody else might be feeling. I'll say just a word about children and infants, and the primary interest here about addressing this complex question with regard to very young humans is babies don't have filters. Children are not, as anyone who's been around children knows, they're not really good at following social rules and mores and being polite. And so the idea is by looking at what children do with their facial movements in different kind of situations, you kind of get this first sense of, well, what is the brain doing here? What does the brain already know? How is it processing?
Your movements tell me that something wrong with you. I'm sorry. Every movement that you have, even that smile tells me, bro, and I don't know this man, ladies and gentlemen, but that creeps me out. Look at that smile. It's like it's a forced smile. It's creepy, man. It's creepy. And then you're referring to people as humans, young humans. Who the hell, let me ask you a question. When the last time you had a conversation with somebody and you started talking about children and you called them young humans? Just question. When the last time you called them young humans? Hey man, went down to the park and saw the young humans playing. Hey man, I went to a school full of young humans. Oh, I'm a teacher in my class. So I got to go teach my 8th grade class of young humans. Who the hell does that? I'm serious, man. Who the hell does that? Other than a lizard person or a detached big brain scientist who might as well be a damn lizard person.
This kind of information. And earlier, maybe from 40 years ago, the literature suggested that babies sort of had these little kernels. We arrived in the world with these little kernels or nuggets of knowledge about emotions, particularly things like happiness and anger and fear and sadness. And people claimed that they could see these in newborn and very young infant facial expressions. But of course, when we went back and reread all of these classic papers and really looked at the details of the methods and reanalyzed the data in terms of how specific and how sensitive these kinds of facial movements were, what we found, in fact, is that infants do not have these kinds of categories. What infants appear to enter the world with.
Stop, pause. That's a whole bunch of bull crap. That's a whole bunch of bull crap. Anybody who really been around children, baby children, you know they got some children that done been here before. I'm serious. They got babies that done been here before. You can't teach them children that stuff that they know and them children been here before. See, this is what I mean. This is what I mean about lizard people and big brain scientists. Book smart, but no damn common sense. Anybody who been around children, anybody who got nieces and nephews and sons and daughters, anybody who been around children, you know that those are distinct personalities from the moment they drop out of their mama. Distinct personalities. Because they got a spirit in them. Because God gave them a spirit. But you can't explain that to lizard people, man. You can't explain to lizard people.
Is a sort of very general distress system.
Sidebar note, that spirit that's in them is older than than that physical body. But nonetheless, I'm gonna let this dude talk. I gotta keep it real with you.
So babies are very good at letting people know and responding to whether everything's cool, everything's very copacetic and calm, or things are not okay. But beyond that, things are not okay, there's really little specificity there. What's fascinating is that often parents will say, I know my baby's cry. That's her tired cry. That's her hungry cry. But in fact, when you take recordings of babies in these different contexts crying, and then later, without any context, play them to parents, they're at chance.
Play them what parents? The child's parents? See, that's what I mean about the lizard people, man. So what you trying to tell me and what you want me to believe is you take a mother's baby and that baby cries and it has their hungry cry, right? They got that I need my diaper change cry. They got that I'm just crying because I want to cry. You trying to tell me that if you take that same mother and that same child and just play those cries to that mama, that she don't know that? You done lost your damn mind. This is how I know you was a lizard. Because only a lizard would say something like that. Ladies, it's a lot of y'all that listen and watch. Is he not a lizard? Do you not have that emotional connection to your child, which is damn near telepathic, to where you know in your heart, based on what you're hearing, that what that child needs? This is what I mean about them being big brain scientists and lizards. These are the people who are making decisions. And this is the damn problem. This is the problem.
And so
I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm getting disgusted. I'm about to pick this up because this pisses me off.
what seems to happen, what's great about having a general distress cry is it's general, it's easy. Caregivers know, they might know what the problem is, but that cry brings an adult caregiver to an infant, and then the adult caregiver can hypothesize test. Does this diaper need to be changed? When's the last time you ate? Brain. But in fact, some of the studies that we've done and other people have done have shown that in fact, human infants are incredibly powerful.
Did this Negro just say human infants again? Did this Negro just say human infants again? I'm done. I'm coming back later. I'm done. I'm gonna holler at y'all later, man.